Hey, hi, how are you today? So I'm Geraldine. I'm here to walk you through this webinar today that is focused on the anatomy of a coaching session. So why this topic? Because many of you want to have model framework to better coach. So first and foremost, let me tell you one thing. The most important thing when you coach is certainly not to have a framework. The most important thing is to be fully present. To be fully present, to listen actively, and to ask the right question at the right moment. Nevertheless, I'm here to help you really understand how a coaching session works and how you can start, what you need to explore in the middle, and how you can close a session. But again, don't get me wrong, what you need to master, that's very important to master, to be an amazing and impactful coach, is to be able to listen actively to your client, to your client, to be fully present, to create a safe space, and to ask the right questions at the right moment, and to share your observation. Let's get started. What we're going to do today, we're going to deconstruct a coaching session. We're going to understand how it starts, how it's conducted in the middle, and how to end it. So let's get started. Let's look at one coaching session, one coaching conversation with two partners. Partnering is very important in coaching, as you know, because it's really the essence of coaching is about partnering with someone to help this person maximize their potential. Now, in a coaching conversation, there's three elements: the beginning, the middle, and the end. This is what we're going to do and look at. There's 4 stages according to the GROW model: goal, reality, options, and way forward. And we'll look at that as well. 10 steps. It's not always sequential. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm going to help you understand how it works, but don't apply tick the boxes. It won't work if you're just too scripted and if you follow it too mechanically. Again, this is more for you to understand, to decrypt a session and to understand how it works. But then you need to really work on your presence, to dance in the moment, to be with your client in the flow of the conversation. And 12 principles, which are fundamentals to understand if you want to coach with impact. How did we design this session? We designed it based on 3 core books of coaching. The first one is The Art of Laser Focus Coaching from Marian Franklin. The second one is Coaching for Performance from Sir John Whitmore, who invented GROW model. And last but not least, one of my favorite coaching books, Coach the Person, Not the Problem, from Marcia Reynolds. All right, let's get started and let's look at the 3 elements and the 4 stages. 3 elements, beginning. So what do we do when we start a coaching session? So what we need to do is to really establish rapport and create this trust with your client, with our clients, so that they feel comfortable to open up, to be vulnerable. If they are not ready to open up and to be vulnerable, the coaching session will not be impactful. What we want to do as well at the beginning is to establish a goal. And if we were to do the parallel with the GROW model, so this is where you want to establish a goal. Now, let's move to the middle of a coaching conversation. So what do you do in the middle? This is where you go deeper. Once you have a clear goal, you will go deeper and you will explore the reality of your client, you will explore their beliefs, mental model, and you will explore where and why they are stuck and help them gain awareness about themselves and their situations. So if you were to draw a parallel with the GROW model, this is where you explore the reality of the situation of the client and you start exploring options. as well to resolve the situation. So that's the middle. Now let's move to the end. How do you properly close a coaching session? And this is very important as well. And I've seen way too many coaches not properly closing a session. So we'll look at that in more details in the next slide. But make sure at this stage that you help your client translate their learnings into action. It's great to be aware, but if you don't use this new awareness in your life, you won't change, you won't transform, you won't reach your goals. So make sure you close down collaboratively. And this is where you do you reach the W stage of the grow model, way forward. Don't worry if you're not familiar with the grow model. We have one session fully dedicated to grow, goal, reality, option, and way forward. Now, let's look at it. Let's zoom in. Let's look at it in more details. We're going to zoom in now. Again, I'm going to share 10 steps. You don't have to follow the sequence very precisely. You can start, go back. It's okay. What matters the most is, again, to be fully present, to have built rapport, and to be here for your client, and to listen with all your senses. Now, how do you start? So, as a coach, I will always take 5-10 minutes before any session to clear my head, to empty my cup. I don't want to have all my worries, my to-dos in mind. I want to be fully present for my client, so I will take 5 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes, just to be present, to ground myself, to do maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes meditation. So find your ways to be present. Empty your cup is also when you welcome the client, you need to help your client empty their cup. They might just had a difficult conversation, they might just had some personal issues. You need to help them ground themselves. You can even do a bit of a breathing exercise before you start the session, or you can just ask, what do you want to leave at the door? What do you want to leave to make the most out of this coaching session? Empty the cup. And it's also chit chat can really help as well. Reconnect with your client and recreate this safe space for coaching and awareness to happen. Now, your client is fully present. You are fully present. You can discuss about action points that were agreed last time. Make sure you really follow up. And I was a bit shy when I started. I was not challenging my clients about what they have done and not done. Make sure you are consistent and you challenge them on what they agreed to do. It's very important in the coaching process to make sure there's continuity and you are here to hold your clients accountable. So follow up on action points and coach them on obstacles if needs be. Okay, after that, you can start establishing the goal. So what would you like to explore today? What's on your mind? What would you like to discuss? What is the objective for today's session? So ask powerful questions to establish a clear goal. Explore the goal, the first goal they share. Very often, the first goal is not the real goal. If you explore well, you will realize that there's underneath goals, underneath objectives that are much deeper and that are the real goals. So maybe you can explore, and after 3-5 minutes, say, what is the real goal here? What is the real objective for this session? So start establishing a goal and make sure there's a clear agreement on the goal. And when I started, I was assuming that the goal was clear. Do not assume, just ask, okay, so I understand that today you want to discuss about your promotion and how to get there. Is that correct? Yes, okay, and then you agree and you can move to the next step. Make sure there's a clear, explicit agreement. It's very important. Once you have a clear goal, a clear objective, you can explore outcomes, success. It's great to have a goal, but it's even better to have a clear outcome for the session and for the goal. So let's say, oh, I want to discuss my promotion with my boss. And the reason why is because I feel I'm not assertive enough to ask to be promoted to the VP level. I want to discuss that and how to manage a conversation. That's the goal. What would success look like for you? It would be, I want to have clear techniques to properly manage the conversation tomorrow and make sure that I agree with my boss on an action points for me to become VP. That would be the success for me. Okay, now, a very, very important question. Ask, why is it important for you? Why is this goal important for you? This question will help you move from the problem I want to establish, to find techniques to discuss, to the person. Why is it important for you? It's important for me because I feel I'm not recognized enough as a leader. I feel I deserve this promotion, but no one offers this promotion to me. So this is where you really understand the deep drivers, the motivation to reach this goal. And sometimes you will help also your client discover their own motivations, and you will help them verbalize that. And what happens here? The motivation of your client to reach their goal move from here to here, because they know exactly why they want to do what they want to do. So it's really about the why, the Simon Sinek why, I would say. So it's important to explore this big why here. Okay. So that's the why, and it also helps to shift to go deeper. So you can also, depending on where you want, what your client wants out of the session, but you can explore, for instance, in this example, the recognition and the identity issue, leadership identity issue. Okay, now we reach the reality stage. As you've seen, it's very, very important to spend enough time at the goal stage. And I've seen a lot of new coaches just briefly establishing goal and then moving to the reality. Don't do that. Spend enough time on the goal. I believe this is the most important part of the conversation. This is where you can help your client clarify what they need, what they want. And if you do that properly, you will already give some awareness to your client. Now, moving to the reality, this is a very important stage. Obviously, this is where you want to explore your client's belief system, mental model. This is where you can explore your client's blockers, potential blind spots, limiting beliefs, value systems. So there's many things to explore with your clients at this stage. So you can ask, what's happening now? What is the situation? What is the reality? What are your blockers? What is missing? What have you tried? Those are good coaching questions to explore your client's reality and their relationship to the problem, to the challenge, to the objectives they're bringing today. Okay, so this is the reality part. And then you can move to the option part, the option from the GROW, G-R-O, options. So it's not only one option, it's many options. At this stage, you want to focus on the quantity, of solutions, of options, instead of the quality. Why? Because usually, and I'm sure you've already realized that, the first options are not the good ones. There are kind of obvious options. So make sure you explore, what are your options? What could you do? What else? And what else? And what if you had no obstacles? What would you do? Those kind of questions are good to explore. So this is a kind of brainstorming sessions, but you don't give solutions. You help your client brainstorm. Okay, so quantity over quality. Then you move to the way forward, to the action part. Okay, so action, this is where you want to pick, to help your client pick 1, 2, 3 options and to commit to do something with them. So actions, make sure, so what would be a good option? What would be the first step you want to do, to take? So that's what you can ask at the action stage when you help your client transform their awareness into actions. Make sure they're smart and accountable. All right, you have a clear action point. So let's say I will use nonviolent communication to communicate with my boss tomorrow. So this is one action. And also I will write two pages right after this call to define who I want to become as a leader. All right, so I want to be clear about my leadership style and be much more assertive tomorrow with my boss. So let's say that's the 2 actions your client took. Okay, so clear. Now you can circle back. How those actions will help you reach your goal to become a VP, to be promoted. Okay, so make sure you circle back and you help your client connect the dots. Okay. And last but not least, and I didn't ask for feedback when I started as a coach, and then I just felt a bit bolder. I felt a bit more courageous to ask. So what do you think? How was it? How was the session for you? And it was really, really amazing. The answers were really amazing and very often not what I was expecting. And it helped me a lot to refine and improve my processes with my client and help them create more awareness. You ask them what was useful for you, they will give you some tips on how to improve, basically. Okay, so feedback. So this is how you conduct a coaching session. Again, don't use that as a script. The best coaching conversation are when you are fully present, you are dancing in the moment with your client, you are in the flow with your client. But again, this is more for you to really understand how it works. I hope it's clear. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Before that, creating shifts. So this is what, if you look at the slide, there's something written, creating shifts. So this is what we want to do as a coach. We want to create shifts, emotional shifts, awareness shifts. This is what will help our clients transform. Okay, I hope this is clear. Again, don't feel trapped into a formula. This is not the objective of this webinar. This is really more for you to have a kind of a framework and then to be able to play with it. I usually, I love to use this analogy of learning how to drive. I don't know if you guys know how to drive, but if this is the case, try to remember the first time you had to learn. It was really overwhelming. At least it was for me. You know, you need to think about everything. You need to look at the road. You need to think about the gears, everything, right? It's super overwhelming. And you're like, wow, I didn't know it was so difficult to drive. And then with practice, you realize it becomes very natural. It becomes, you don't even think about what to do, right? You don't even think about as a mechanism, you just drive and that's it. You are in autopilot. So that's exactly the same with this framework. this is some guidance for you to know how coaching works. What I want you to do is to practice and to make sure it becomes natural and that you are in autopilot when you coach someone. And this is where the magic happens. All right, now let's look at some 12 key principles. So those are very, very important principles, and please take the time to reflect on them and to own them. First one, the most difficult one, and embrace the not knowing state. And this is very difficult because all our life we've been trained to know, to anticipate, to have a script, to know the outcome. And now, as a coach, we need to let go of that. We need to unlearn, to be open to many things. So that's very, very uncomfortable, and that's okay. Embrace the unknown, embrace the uncomfort of not knowing. And you're not here to be smart, which is also good news, because all your life you have to be smart and right. You don't want that. It's really about being okay with not knowing, trusting the process and trusting the client. Number 2, be present. Be present and use your 5 senses. Coaching is not only about your analytical skills and ability to understand your client. It's about your ability to sense what's happening in the coaching conversation, using your rational and emotional mind and all your senses. It's about your ability to be present, having a soft focus on your client, not a sharp focus, a soft one, and being able to capture all the vibes and the shifts in the conversation. Number 3, let go of formulas. I know that's a bit strange since I just gave you a formula, right? But this is exactly the point of, learning how to drive. So let go of formulas. Masterful coaching conversation are free-flowing, organic, and natural dialogues. However, if you want to reach this master coaching level, you need to go through the practice and to learn techniques and frameworks. Okay? So number 4, it's really, again, what I mentioned, it's about listening. And one of my favorite listening model, it's RASA. It means receive, acknowledge, summarize, and ask. Receive, it's receive with all your senses, all the data from your client. You receive the words, the tone of the voice, you receive the verbal, non-verbal cues, you receive everything. Acknowledge, it's about being very present and acknowledging. You can nod or you can say yes. Acknowledge what your client is saying. Summarize, very important, totally overlooked, I believe. Summarize what you have heard. Why is it important? For 2 reasons. The first one is to make your client feel heard, and that's a must in a coaching conversation. They will trust you, they will be safe to share more. So that's the first reason. And the second is to make sure you have properly understood what is shared and to help your client go deeper and further into the conversation. Okay, so summarizing or articulating, paraphrasing different strategies is crucial. And try to really, really practice this. It's not natural. Try to practice it and you will see how it helps. And the last one is for ask. So it's about asking, right? Now, let's move to number 5. Okay, so make sure you establish boundaries with your clients. You are not here to be their friends. You're here to help them. You can be friendly, but don't be their friend. So make sure there's enough emotional detachment from your client's situation if you want to help them properly. Okay, so you need to be objective and emotionally detached, and that's not easy because you show empathy. So you need to find the right balance. So stay objective and try to remain neutral as well. And we'll discuss about this one. You're not here to share your stories and to, oh yes, I understand I had the same issue and it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Just forget about that. Don't use this. Just stay objective and professional. Number 6. Okay. Embrace neutrality. And this is, again, very important because naturally we don't want to be neutral. We want to be here for them and sharing our own stories. Don't do that. Make sure you're unbiased. Make sure you're objective. Don't use I too often. Don't share your stories, your anecdotes. Keep your ego out of the coaching conversation. Number 7. So this is what I mentioned earlier about the S of RASA. RASA is receive, acknowledge, summarize, and ask. And here we're talking about the S. And I've seen also new coaches really repeating what the client said, and it was more like a parrot. This is not helpful. It can be really annoying when you're on the client side. So just try to summarize or paraphrase or reflect what you have heard and what you've seen and what you felt as well. So it's really not about repeating exactly what you've heard. It's about sharing what you've listened, understood, and seen. So let's say, oh, when you talked about your manager, I can see that it was not easy for you to share. Is it correct? Or when you mentioned that you had the challenges to communicate your thoughts and be assertive with your colleagues, it seems that you were hesitating to share more. Is it correct? Or what is missing in what you shared? This is what you can, how you can reflect. Okay, number 8. Your job as a coach is to be a mirror and to gather data. Okay, so whenever you meet your client, any interaction will give you data. You will receive data with all your senses, and it will help you coach better, ask the right questions, use your intuition to go further and help and create more awareness. So pay attention to anything, not only what they say, but also the way they behave and the non-verbal cues. Number 9, I love this one and it's super impactful. It's a bit more advanced, so don't worry if you're just at the beginning of your coaching journey. But if you're a bit more advanced in your coaching journey, make sure you pay attention to whatever your client is saying, even casual comments at the beginning of the session, or just something that is totally disconnected from what is from the story. Because they don't saying it they're always sharing things for a reason. So ask yourself, why are they telling me this? And be more curious about it. And you can really ask yourself, what is making this a problem for this person? Of course, you don't want to explore every single comment of your client, but do not ignore casual comments. They might be very useful to help your client create awareness. Number 10, ask powerful questions. This one, we have a webinar dedicated to the power of coaching questions, so please look at it. But just to give you some tips, powerful coaching questions just start usually with what and how. And usually they are short questions, less than 7 words. And most importantly, powerful questions reflect what you have just heard, listened, understood. It's really it reflects active listening. All right. Don't believe the client. So the point here is more to listen for discrepancies, listen for some beliefs, listen for interpretation of the reality, because the story of your client might just be the tip of the iceberg, and there are probably a lot of things under, and they don't even know that. So don't believe what your client are sharing. Challenge them, challenge their assumptions. So let's say if someone said, you know, my boss doesn't like me. Okay, so you don't believe your client, just what makes you think that? Just be curious, explore. What makes you think that? Oh, well, I just feel it. Is it true or not? This is where you, as a coach, need to be as objective as possible and help your client try to shift from interpretation to reality. Here we are, shift number 12. This is what we want to achieve as coaches, and this is what is so fulfilling, is to create shifts. So shifts are defined as changes in place or positions, places or positions. And this is what we want to help our client do, to shift perspectives, to understand the situation differently, to create more awareness, and then to change. Here we are, we have covered the anatomy of a coaching conversation and 12 key principles. So I hope this was useful. Feel free to share your key takeaways in comments or just share them with me at info@comastercoach.com. And we are always looking to improve, so do not hesitate to provide feedback as well. See you soon, and don't forget to practice. This is the most important thing if you want to improve. Bye, guys.